that reached out first that they were
That
interested.
says everything. And yeah, we'll talk more about this later. I have some other thoughts, but I think that your book is going to be big, big, big.
We shall see, but that would
Yes.
be fantastic. Hey guys, welcome back. We are back. Bobby and I having a fun day today. So I will say this, Bobby, you and I know that Bobby's been talking about my drama lately, and I have had a lot of drama lately that I won't talk about yet, but I will say this, my house sold yesterday. I really like my real estate guy. He sometimes watches these, Brian. Brian hangs out with us sometimes, but I do like him a lot. Listen to this, Bobby. We listed it the day you were allowed to, right? We didn't list it. We started working on it. It listed 2 days later. So Brian worked his butt off to get stuff done. But it was listed for a week. We had 9 people look at our house, come through it physically. By the way, when you come through a house in Michigan right now, you have to wear a mask, you have to wear gloves, and people have to sign something that they are certifying that to the best of their knowledge, they do not have any COVID symptoms, right? Mm-hmm. So all those things, they leave it on the counter for us. 9 people looked at the house. We had 3 offers.
Amazing.
A third of the people. And I'll tell you what the key was. I can tell you specifically what the key was. He did such a good job. And Bobby, you saw the old pictures of our house that the old realtor had and the new ones. Mm-hmm. He has these programs that just brightens everything up. You know, he just has those programs, and he has another one that made like a 3D dollhouse picture where you could, like, it's a cutaway, and you can go into any part of our house and look at it. And I got to tell you, just using technology in a smart way, where you're just making everything look a little brighter, a little more fun. This program they use can take like a cloudy day and make it a blue sky day. Like, you're not changing anything material. And Brian was always clear about that. He's like, I don't want to lie about the house because people will find out sooner or later, right? But if you can make the pictures look like it's a clear day and it's a beautiful day and it's nice and sunny out and your house is in this perfect spot, then people kind of vision it a little differently. And the pictures we looked at our house were awful. I mean, I actually, so, and we've only been here 18 months and got a nice little bump in the amount that we got for it too. And we
You didn't do any, I mean, you were very smart in your renovations because you did the things that were going to be effective and would appeal to new buyers, which is something that people generally, don't always think about. People sometimes over customize a house to become, as they like to say, the house is very specific.
No, you're right.
And that's harder to sell. I thought your renovations, I saw pictures before and after, they were great renovations, and they were smart renovations, and they were things that renovations is not even the right word. They were, almost like a facelift.
Well, that's what Brian said too, is staging your house is important. And the one thing that we do like nice art. And I think that the stuff on the walls that aren't even
like right behind you.
It's like that. Like this masterpiece right here. Joe's genius in 3rd grade. All right. We ready to do this? But anyway, my house is sold. We had earlier today, we had the inspection. So I'm, in 5 more days, I'll be in the clear, and I'll know that I got 5 weeks to sell my stuff and get that out of here.
Yeah. But it's exciting. You're off to an adventure.
Yes. And we'll tell you where as soon as we know.
Yeah. You're so exciting. I'm so boring. I grew up in the New York metro area, and here I am. That's it.
And you've been talking about someday moving since I've known you.
Well, we do. I don't like the winters in the Northeast. So we do want to move somewhere warm for the winters. And probably at some point we'll move, we'll have a residence, I hope, somewhere warmer, maybe Florida. I love Florida.
I will say and as Bobby knows, we're looking at a hell of a lot of places. But one of the places that we're looking at right now is in northern Maine for the summer. How cool would that be?
Beautiful. But you're rubbing it in because my son's camp just got canceled in Maine. So, Maine is beautiful. We go every year to visit him, visiting day. And Maine is just so beautiful in the summer. I've done biking trips up there. It's fantastic.
We did a marathon in October, and it's the weekend that they close up Bar Harbor. Like, it's the last weekend things are open, and it's in mid-October. Like, that's how cold it is. Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, ready to make a podcast? Let's talk about some guy named Dave Ramsey. Whatever that is. Let me pull this up. We've got some April. So So how many did I said I'm doing the first 8? 1, 2, 3, 4,
You
5,
just
6.
tell me when I should talk. Let's leave it at that.
Okay. I'll go. And Bobby. All right, here we go. All right, I hit record. This is for Monday, 22, 23, 24, 25. This is Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm. Dave Ramsey facing controversy for a business aimed at helping consumers get out of timeshares. But is it working? It is Monday, May 25th, 2020, and this is Money with Friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner Bobby Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from Putnam County, New York.
And coming to you from Oakland County, Michigan, where we make the Stacky Benjamin Show. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy.
You know, I say that because nobody really has heard of Lake Mahopac, but maybe you guys have. Write to us. Let me know if you've heard of Lake Mahopac. Anyway, welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. This is the show where we talk about headlines and stories with thought leaders from across the financial landscape. We break those stories down into what matters to you, our friends, and we leave you with a takeaway to make it your own.
Today's show brought to you by Acre Trader, investing in farmland simplified. I grew up in farmland, and you know what? A lot of people talking about gold, Bobby, but another asset class that's held its own during this entire time is farmland. Head to acretrader.com/MWF for more to see how farmland works. And we'll talk about that more in the show later. I've talked a lot about Acre Trader in the past. Some dude named Dave Ramsey in a little bit of hot water because he's been talking about timeshares, and not timeshares, but how a company that helps you get out of timeshares. And it might not be working, Bobby, the way people think it is.
Yeah, not so much. No.
So today, Memorial Day, we're remembering lots of people who served our country. And big thanks to any veterans that we have in the audience today. But we're also thinking about timeshares. We're going to mix it up a little. Let's see which one of our friends can help us kick off today's show. All right.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Today's piece comes to us from Investment News. It's an opinion piece, by the way, written by Bruce Kelly. So this is Bruce Kelly's opinion. He writes, time for Dave Ramsey to check out of this timeshare exit endorsement. Bruce writes, Dave Ramsey, a popular radio host who preaches the gospel of debt-free living, is adored by many financial advisors who do business with his organization by paying for potential client leads. Those advisors call and email potential clients, many of whom are evangelical Christians like Ramsey, with pitches that may begin with the phrase, Dave Ramsey let me know you're looking to speak with a financial advisor. Turns out, Ramsey's also currently endorsing a business that's the center of a recent lawsuit by Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson called Timeshare Exit Team. The company promotes its ability to get consumers out of real estate investments. Timeshare Exit Team is listed as one of several companies under the heading Dave Recommends on his website. According to the complaint, which was filed in February, Timeshare Exit Team, also known as Reed Hine & Associates, uses numerous unfair or deceptive business practices related to services to exit consumers' timeshares. Reed Hine advertises a 100% money-back guarantee, the Attorney General's office alleges. In reality, many consumers have struggled to obtain refunds and are still denied refunds even after the companies failed to deliver for years. In a video posted on the website for Timeshare Exit Team, Ramsey paints a different picture of the company. At first, I was reluctant to partner with a company involved in the timeshare exit space, Ramsey says. You have to be very careful about who you partner with. Trust me. Yet, Ramsey's been endorsing the company for about 3 years. Ramsey's radio show is broadcast by hundreds of stations in the United States. As Investment News reported in 2017, financial advisors may profit handsomely from their association with Ramsey, his radio show, and assorted businesses by getting leads to potential clients who sign up through the Dave Ramsey Show website. Bobby?
At that time, advisors paid fees for the referrals ranging between $400 per month and close to $900 per month based on the size and population of the territory, as well as the number of referrals that come in over a period of time. Advisors pay the advertising fee and are part of a directory called Smart Vestor Pros. Ramsey and his various businesses are not named in the complaint, but are mentioned a handful of times, with the complaint naming the Dave Ramsey Show as Reed Hine's most profitable endorsement. Reed Hine also prioritizes, quote, complaints and refund requests where the customer threatens to contact the Better Business Bureau, state attorneys general, private attorneys, or the Dave Ramsey Show, according to the complaint. On the website for the Dave Ramsey Show, there is no listing of how much Ramsey charges Timeshare Exit Team for the endorsement. Timeshare Exit Team generally charges between $3,000 and nearly $9,000 for its services, according to Washington State. Quote, for many consumers, Reed Hine promises a 100% guarantee that was a major factor in their decision to contract with the company, according to the Attorney General's office. In practice, Reed Hine regularly denies refunds. Reed Hine has contracted to provide 38,000 timeshare exits, according to Washington State. Of those, 17,000 are still pending, more than 8,000 for 2 years or longer, and more than 4,600 for 3 years or longer. Okay, and now we have a quote for this from the CEO of Reed Hine. Quote, while we have always respected the office of the Washington State Attorney General and believed their focus was on consumer protection, we are extremely disappointed to see they have aligned themselves with an industry who preys on the very consumers they pledge to represent. We strongly disagree with the allegations leveled in this complaint. A spokesperson for Dave Ramsey, Megan McConnell, did not respond to multiple calls and emails seeking comment. Now, according to Ferguson's office, Trevor Hine formed their company in 2012 after Reed attended a trade show where he saw a long line at a booth selling timeshare exit services. Their prior business, this goes to where they had experience, had been to sell rain gutter systems.
Yeah.
And then should we go through the next paragraph is just about what a timeshare is. Let me just do it just in case anyone doesn't know. Timeshare is the shared ownership of a vacation real estate and is typically sold by the week. So now timeshare exit businesses have recently proliferated as consumers look to get out of the contracts. And a lot of the reason that people, by the way, want to get out of contracts, separate from what's going on now with COVID-19, is that you don't just pay once. It's an ongoing bill forever, and you may want to go other places. Sometimes these companies don't deliver what they promise, but even if they do, again, it's an ongoing maintenance charge that you're kind of stuck with forever. So there is a big business in getting people out of these.
And what's interesting about this is that I know people, and I always hear timeshares are evil, timeshares are evil, timeshares are horrible. I also hear this about multi-level marketing systems. You know what though, Bobby? I have also seen people very successful in both of those. People that love their timeshare, they wouldn't live without it. But when I hear about success stories, either in MLMs or timeshares, which get compared a lot, not just by me, but by a lot of people, right? It feels like it's a heavy sales pitch. But I found that when people did not get the heavy sales pitch and they're sold what this really is, what it really, really is, and they know the facts going in, they're much more likely to be happy with it later on, which drives me crazy. Some of the sales practices to sell these things drive me absolutely nuts. But man, I've known some people that just love their timeshares. But it's a lifestyle decision, and you really have to know what you're getting into, and you can't let somebody talk you into it. That's what drives me crazy. But even more than that, those numbers you read about this company, and I don't know if I've heard this company before, but you and I both have heard these timeshare exit company advertisements. They're all over the place. Well, I don't know if you've heard them, but I hear them all the time.
Oh, I do.
And when you hear these, they always sound like they have this proven track record of getting people out of timeshares. And being a guy that has worked with a lot of contracts in the past and kind of knowing a little bit about how hard it is to get out of contracts, and having helped my clients get attorneys to try to help them get out of contracts, I've always thought to myself as I hear these ads, how have they figured out a way to get people out of these contracts as quickly and as easily as it sounds on this commercial? But clearly, when you hear these numbers that you just read, they don't have a magic wand, because half, like maybe what, half? Was the number about half?
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of the question though, and again, this is an opinion piece, is, the association that Dave Ramsey has chosen to make with them, and whether there's been full disclosure about the money that Dave Ramsey and his organization is receiving from them. Because that endorsement, I mean, Dave Ramsey has an amazing reputation. And to be fair, many people have been helped by Dave Ramsey and his organization in terms of their, debt management and getting people on the right financial track. But he does make a lot of money affiliating with financial advisors, which they talk about at the beginning of the article, and also this company and other companies.
But do you fault Dave Ramsey here?
I think that ultimately everyone needs to be careful who they endorse. We talked about that with Kendall Jenner on Saturday's show. So I do not fault an endorser for a company not coming through, but it's very important that you disclose your affiliation with them and that you be very careful because it is your reputation. Things go wrong all the time on both sides. When you have these influencer and Dave Ramsey, let's be honest, is an influencer in addition to
Sure.
being, as I said, a wonderful help to many people that he has changed their lives. So we don't want to take that away, but separately, he's a money influencer. He's paid to endorse various products and businesses, and you do have a responsibility. And these things are very delicate because they can blow up on either end. The influencer sometimes can have a problem, and then the company has to disassociate. And we've seen that happen many times with big brand deals that maybe you have an athlete that gets into trouble or some celebrity that gets into trouble, and then they lose their endorsements. And then on the flip side, you can have a celebrity who's endorsing a company that they believe, based on everything they know when they sign that deal, that the company is a very solid company and is aligned with their values, and then something goes wrong with the company. It happens.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It seems to me, I mean, just based on this piece, I don't actively follow Dave Ramsey, but even based on this piece, I don't really blame Dave Ramsey a lot. I think Dave Ramsey, to your point, needs to be careful about who he endorses. But if it's on a page with sponsors, right? So on his website, it shows up on a page with other. It's very clear that this is a sponsor relationship. Also, they talk about the video that he made, and in the video, he's like, "You have to be careful with who you partner with," right? And even that language that Dave uses, kind of, I think, makes it pretty clear to the average person that this is a paid endorsement of the company. So in some ways, I kind of feel a little bad for Dave Ramsey. Don't get me wrong. Dave Ramsey needs to do his due diligence to make sure he knows who he's partnering with and decide when to get in and when to get out of an endorsement, which, Bruce Kelly here is writing his opinion that he thinks that Dave Ramsey needs to get the hell away from this company, which if Bruce's colorization of this is correct, I think he does too. I think he's just got to get as far away from this company as he possibly can. But I also think that it kind of sucks to be Dave Ramsey in this case. That Dave, to some degree. So even on this show, we have advertisers on the show. We have affiliate relationships like Acre Trader today, as an example.
Mm-hmm.
If Acre Trader does something which isn't great, people are going to look at you and I in a different light because of the fact that we said that we thought that they were a good company.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that would suck to be us, because even though I like farmland as an investment, it is something that I had to, farmland as an investment is not something that's in your corner, Bobby. It's not an area of investing that you were familiar with before me. And so to some degree, you even had to take my word for it. So I would even feel worse for you than I would for me, even though I'd feel bad because Acre Trader did something and I didn't know that was happening. Like that, I think it goes back a little bit to what we talked about on Saturday, which is the endorsement is kind of just the tip of the funnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like start off with the endorsement and go, okay, Joe and Bobby really like Acre Trader, but is farmland investing really? I mean, let's just use Acre Traders as a thing. And maybe we don't even need them to do the mid roll later on. We don't need to do that whole thing. But is it for me? Is where does it fit my portfolio? Do I understand enough about it? Do I get the way that this company competes against other companies beforehand? So just because Dave Ramsey says that this company will help you get out of the timeshare, $5,000 to $9,000, or was it $3,000 to $9,000 to get you out of it? That's still a lot of money. You're still going to be out a ton of money. And so looking at where's that crossover point, is it better to stay with it for a few more years? Maybe there's other ways to list your company. They have these exchanges where you can list your timeshare to people. Maybe a family member wants to buy. I've had on Facebook, people tell all their Facebook friends, like, hey, I've loved my timeshare, can't use it anymore. If you want it, there's a maintenance fee of X amount per year, but I will transfer it to you,
Mm-hmm.
And again, some companies, I know in Disney's product of this, Disney's made it very hard for you to transfer it to somebody else.
Really?
Yes. Yes, which I think is a little bit of dirty pool.
Yeah, they do a hard sell. I will say that my husband and I were on a Disney cruise and we were hungry and there was food in this room. We walk in and all of a sudden we were at the sales pitch as it happens, which probably does not surprise you, Joe. For everyone that isn't watching us, Joe is smirking. Yes, we went for the free food. We're that easy. So we had to sit through this presentation, and they do a good hard sell. Let me tell you, we leave there going, maybe we should think about it. Now we did not, but they know what they're doing. They
Which
know
is
what
cool.
they're doing for sure.
Their reputation in the timeshare space is that they don't do a hard sell.
Oh, that let me tell you, I felt granted we were on we're on the Disney cruise ship. I felt it was a hard sell, and we continue to receive follow-up mail
Oh
years
yeah,
later.
yeah,
But look, I don't know if it was such hard sell. It's not like they're calling us or anything. We're
yeah,
on the mailing list.
sure.
And I have to say the product looked great. It's just, for us, that's not what we're going to do, but it did look great. And, we had our lunch.
Well,
So
and that's one being a Disney fan that you can believe that Cheryl and I have looked at because the fact that we do it so much. And frankly, if we go to Disney as much as we do, you do the math. And even with that maintenance fee, I'll stay at these cool hotels I like to stay at for a lot less money than I do currently when we go to Disney. So at some point, the math actually works for me on that one. But
right.
that goes back to the thing: you can't take Dave Ramsey's word for these things. You have to do the math yourself.
Right. And by being on this page, it's very clear that it's a paid endorsement. I think a lot of the controversy on Saturday's show, we were talking about Kendall Jenner, is that she did not clearly mark that she was paid. And it was a total of $275,000 for the endorsement of the Fire Festival. And that's a lot of where she got in trouble. I think it's really important to be honest with your audience that you are being paid for the endorsement and to be clear about that. And look, there has to be a trust that when you decide to make that endorsement, you believe in the company, you support them, they're in line with your values. And occasionally, and it's often not very often, frankly, that those values do split and they're not aligned anymore. And you have to reevaluate the relationship.
Yeah, there's a this whole idea um, of timeshares in the first place. Just even getting into a timeshare at the start, I think deciding lifestyle. I feel bad that so many people want out of these things. Where you think about if you hadn't gotten into it in the first place, right? If,
Yeah.
if you
But
just
yet they still then why, Joe? Why do they keep making them and selling them? I mean, the numbers must be so compelling for the people in the companies themselves, or
I think
this business would not, because now there's a lot of, at first there wasn't information out about this, but people know now.
the sales practices work. I think these hard sell sales practices absolutely work.
Hmm.
I think, and it's bad news because I think that I had a mentor tell me early in my career. He said there's the short term and obvious and the long term and not so obvious. And I think that for some of these companies, the short term and obvious thinking is we'll keep the sales practices going because they work. But the long term and not so obvious is who the hell wants to be that person? Like who wants to be that? I would hate to walk into a room my entire life and go, hey, I'm the guy that sells the cheesy crap that nobody wants, so I got to shove it down your throat. Like I don't want to do that, you know?
Ouch.
How hard would that be?
Mm.
It would just absolutely stink. But you know
Mm.
what's funny is that I feel the same way though about multi-level marketing, which
Yeah.
is that a lot of these products are not bad products. The sales practice, if anybody tells you, if they're in your living room on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and they're telling you that you won't have to sell the product at all, you get 3 other people to sell the product, and then you sit around with your feet up, the first question you need to ask that person is, if you're sitting around with your feet up, why the hell are you in my living room at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night?
Mm-hmm.
Because frankly, while multi-level marketing could be a good way to sell stuff, if everybody's selling it, if people are actually selling it, I have no problem with that. But multi-level marketing means you have a low barrier. It's a business with a low barrier of entry. And whenever you have a business with a low barrier of entry, you have a lot of people you're competing against. So I've always told people there's nothing wrong with multi-level marketing, but realize you're going to have a lot of people in that business because it's so easy to get in. And because it's so easy to get in, you're going to have a lot of people selling stuff that's not true. And so you just got to realize that a business means hard work. You got to own it, and you got to own it long term. And if that's a multi-level marketing business for you, great. but don't fall for any of this. I'm never working stuff. It's just there's no such. I would love that business. Well, podcasting is that business. You and I sit around phasing all this money.
So easy. Well, that's why so many people during the quarantine are launching. I mean, I get emails every single day about I'm launching a podcast. Can you give me some advice? Every day. I'm not actually exaggerating. Every day. Every day. So many podcasts launching. We wish everybody well.
We love hanging out with our friends here making the show. You want to hang out with us today? We're on YouTube. Generally on Thursday or Friday we're on YouTube. Monday through Wednesday, sometimes on Thursday morning we're on Facebook. But today at the Money with Friends YouTube channel, Annette's hanging out with us and says we live in a world that pays for recommendations. If you don't know that, you live under a rock. And you're really then, Annette, I agree with you. You have to then trust who you're talking to. And I do believe, and I'm sure you do too, Bobby, that when Dave first recommended this company, that he really believed that these people could do what they said they did.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting. So the writer did say that he tried to reach out to Dave Ramsey's people. And look, we don't know if he just called and they didn't get the message. We have no idea. Truthfully, sometimes he might have called on a Friday night and written this on Saturday. I have no idea. But I would love to hear their side of the story. I would, because I've dealt with those people and I've always had great experiences. That's a personal bias, personal opinion, as our Governor Cuomo in New York likes to say. Big disclaimer, personal opinion. I don't always agree with everything, with all of their financial advice. I think they can be a little extreme and a little harsh. I'm a little bit more, I think, sympathetic to people, but I think that certainly the organization has been very easy to deal with and really good people over there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel bad for everybody here. I feel bad for people that took the endorsement. I feel bad for Dave not being able to control it, because I think if Dave controlled it, he controlled the narrative much more than he's able to here. It stinks. In just a second, Bobby and I are going to have a big takeaway from today's piece. But before we get to that, we already said a little bit about AcreTrader. AcreTrader.com/MWF. And if you use our link, by the way, to look at AcreTrader, you know what? That's how they help the podcast. So please use our link if you're going to check out acretrader.com. One thing we're hearing about a lot lately, by the way, and I'll just say this about AcreTrader, hearing a lot about gold right now. We're not hearing a lot about farmland. But if you look at what's happened to farmland lately as well, even when times were good, Bobby, and you and I were talking about AcreTrader last year, we talked about how it compares very favorably to gold. Farmland still comparing favorably, which is why I liked it in the first place. AcreTrader.com/MWF if you want to check it out. All right.
And I think you have to be an accredited investor.
You do, yes. And look that up. Rather than us take 15 minutes and talk about what that means, but it's only for certain types of investors, because your money will be locked up in land. Much like a timeshare is locked up, your money will be locked up with farmland, and you can't go sell off a little piece of farmland to get your cash back. So,
although I don't think you don't have maintenance fees, though. I think that's a lot of the problem with the farmland. I'm with the with the timeshares is the ongoing cost.
Well, and actually with AcreTrader, opposite. Every year when the rent comes in, you get your portion of the rent check. So you will get a little check every year for the farmer renting it from you. So good stuff. All right, let's do our takeaways. What do you got, Bobby?
Look, as we said over the weekend with Kendall Jenner and her endorsement of the Fire Festival, this can be a very precarious line of business for influencers. And make no mistake, Dave Ramsey has a lot of influence for consumers. Trust is important, but so is your own judgment. Take time to read the fine print and make your own decision. It is your money, and you're the one who will pay the price if things go wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that even though the endorsement's a great place to start, there's nothing like due diligence, Bobby. Nothing like due diligence. And even, I talked a little positively today about MLMs and about timeshares, but I also think there's truth in this. If a lot of people are talking negatively about a product and somebody's telling you that it's fantastic, I still want to know all those reasons people talk negatively about it, right? I mean, I've also talked positively in the past about annuities. I think there's good annuities, and I think that they serve a purpose. But there's a reason why people hate annuities, and most of them are true. You got to know all the downsides of the product before you get in it. So good stuff.
Yeah, very well said. I think that's important, Joe. Good points.
Where do people find us this week, Bobby?
Follow us on Instagram. How about that? at Money Friends Pod. That's also our handle on Twitter. Stay close to Instagram stories because you can then find out when our upcoming tapings are, including coming up less than a week from today, or about a week from today. I think a week from today. We're going to be revealing
3 days from today.
3 days from today. Really? I'm not sure about that. All right, we'll figure out the calendar. So this is why you have to follow us on Instagram. We're going to be revealing our new cast. I don't think it's 3 days from today, but we're going to figure that out. It's Monday. We're going to reveal them on a. Don't we usually reveal it? No, we're not. We don't reveal on a Thursday show. We reveal on a Monday show, and then we start with a new cast on Tuesday. I think so.
The last 3 seasons we've done it on Thursday.
Maybe we record it on a Thursday and it goes out on the podcast on a Saturday.
You know what's cool about this?
We're going to figure it out. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. This is why you have to join our show for the behind the scenes taping. So you can join in on the fun of how Joe can completely confuse Bobby. Stay with us. Okay. You got to be part of the tapings to see what's really going on behind the scenes. There's been a lot of chaos during this taping. This is my 4th episode in a row that I've taped today. And you can see this is what happens. So at Money Friends Pod on Instagram, at Money Friends on Twitter. Our website is moneywithfriendspodcast.com. Joe, you go.
I just realized I think you're right. You are right.
Oh boy. Let it be said. Joe said Bobby is right.
You can join us live to watch us talk about it on Thursday. We'll be on Facebook, I believe, on Thursday. Maybe on YouTube, but probably on Facebook. You can join us there for the reveal. And then I think it will air on Monday. I think you are right. But that's what's fun about recording this live is we're not going to fix any of this.
We have no idea. Yeah.
This is it. No fixing it in post, guys. This is it. All right. On behalf of Bobby, I'm Joe. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bobby will be here with special alumni guest Danielle Town, one of our favorite people. Love Danielle Town. Love her dad, Phil Town. Fantastic people.
She's going to be talking about Warren Buffett.
Yes. And I will be back later in the week talking about investing during this time with our great alumni from Money for the Rest of Us, David Stein, talking money.
He's so smart.
We're going to be talking a lot about investing during this. All right, guys. Bobby will see you tomorrow. I'll see you later in the week. Bye-bye. Oh, they're not being long. 27 minutes.
Oh, yikesies.
Yes. All right.
And you just promised we wouldn't cut anything. Oh, my goodness.
Let it go.
Well,
you know what's funny is, so Ron, yes, I need to shave in a bad way.
Joe's had quite a week.
I have had quite a week. And Chris, I am not on the road yet. That is a different thing. I thought I was going to be on the road by now. But I will tell you this. I will say this, which is, so last Friday, Cheryl's license came through to work in Arizona in her field, which was exciting because that's what we were waiting for because of the job that she'd accepted. And then we got a call from the recruiter saying, hey, this is going to be really strange. And I've never had this happen before, but the job's been pulled. There is no job. And so anyway, so Cheryl had already quit her job here. She loves what she does. Luckily, she can take time off if she needs to, but she really wants to keep moving. So we are figuring out where we're going to live. We have no idea. And so I keep telling Bobby different cities. And I think Bobby's learned, like, don't take anything I say on any day as what's happening because we have no. I do know that we sold our house. So
I know it's amazing. So I'm in a house, by the way, that we have been trying to sell for over a year. And yours went in a couple of days. Yeah. Well, I'm not always, there's a few people in charge. And so we have debates about pricing and that, you can just decide different things, but we'll see how things go. I love this house. It's a beautiful house. It's really a beautiful house that I love, but we're selling it.
Yeah.
Someday.
It looks beautiful. It looks fantastic.
It is a beautiful house. It's a beautiful house. But for reasons that are just too long to get into here, guys, it is for sale. So if you're interested in a house on a lake in Putnam County, be in touch and I will let you know where, get you the right information. But oh, well.
So Kevin's asking about Bali. I'll just hang out here for a minute or two longer. If Cheryl accepts a short-term position, Bali's on. If she accepts a permanent position because we want to go to Japan to visit my daughter and she's only going to get so much time off a year, Bali will be off. luckily we purchased trip insurance. We talked about insurance on Saturday's show. We purchased trip insurance, so everything's insured. I'll have to pay a ticket change fee to have the tickets changed to go to Japan instead of to Bali, but Bali will be off depending on what she chooses. Right now, we're looking at a few different cities for. We want a non-permanent spot now through November, and then if that doesn't happen, she'll go with permanent. She's talking to a couple of permanent spots here, but they're all over the United States. Yesterday, we had a top 10 list of top 10 cities in the U.S. we'd like to live in. So that was pretty fun.
I think it's cool. It's an adventure.
It totally is an adventure. But anyway, guys, more to come on that drama front.